Hi students, welcome to lesson 20, Family, Marriage and Kinship, Part B. With the growing size of societies, institutions have become more complex, progressive and diverse to meet the secondary needs of the people. Thus, have evolved secondary institutions like economy, polity, education, law, legislation, constitution, etc. The primary institutions of family, marriage and kinship are of utmost significance in Indian society. After the completion of this lesson, you will be able to describe the family system in India with specific reference to joint family in India. You will be able to explain kinship patterns in different parts of India. Let us now discuss the characteristics of traditional family. Traditional family has an authoritarian structure. Authoritarianism here means that the power to make decisions and pass judgments is in the hand of one person who demands immediate obedience. In an authoritarian family, the power is traditionally given only to the eldest male of the family because of his age and seniority. Traditional family has familistic organization. This refers to the subordination of individuals' interests to the interests of the family as a whole, which means that the goals of the family must be the goals of the individual members. Depth of generations. The joint family comprises of people of 3 or more generations living under a common roof. Arranged marriages. The marriage of the younger members is arranged by the head of the family, which is usually accepted. The status of members in the joint family is determined by their age and relationship. The status of a man is higher than his wife in 2 generations. The status of a person in the higher generation is higher than the status of a person in the lower generation. In the same generation, the status of a person of higher age is higher than the status of a person of lower age, and the status of a woman is determined by the status of her husband in the family. In traditional family, we see commonality of roof, kitchen, worship and property. The members of the joint family normally reside together under the same household, which is the center of all social, economic, religious, recreational activities. Joint family system has been known for its hospitality. The household of joint family is the center for all religious activities, rituals and practices. The worship of Kul Devta, that is dynasty god and ancestors, is common feature of Indian joint family system. The members also hold a common property, with the eldest male member being the key person who takes decisions pertaining to not only the household matters but property matters also. The filial and fraternal relationships gets preference over the conjugal relationships. The family functions on the ideal of joint responsibility and seniority. The authority in the family between men and women, men and men, and women is determined on the principle of seniority. Though the eldest male or female may delegate the authority to someone else, but even his delegation is based on the principle of seniority, which limits the scope for development of individualism. Ideally, joint family is a self-sufficient unit meeting the socio-economic, religious, recreational and psychological needs of its members. Nevertheless, traditional joint family has its own merits and demerits. Merits of joint family. The joint family is more stable and durable than the single unit family or the nuclear family. The joint family meets the basic needs of its members, that is food, clothing and shelter, a first condition of economic progress. Further, it provides larger labor force, especially for the agricultural communities. It prevents the subdivision and fragmentation of land holdings and helps in scientific farming. Joint family protects the economic interests of the members and assures economic progress of the society. It also secures the advantages of division of labor. Joint family provides social and psychological security, leisure and recreation. The joint family, by exercising control over the behavior of its members, acts as an agency of social control. It promotes cooperative virtues. It instills the socialistic spirit among the members. There are certain demerits of joint family as well. Let us talk about demerits of joint family. The joint family does not provide enough scope for the members to develop qualities of adventure, self-determination, industriousness, etc. The elder ones take up too many responsibilities and the younger ones are overprotected. The joint family limits individual initiative and social mobility. There is scope for arguments between family members. Women are entrusted with household activities. The career orientation of women thus may not be encouraged owing to household responsibilities. Further, traditionally, son preference has been existing which undermines the status of women in joint family system. However, this trend may not be generalized. The disputes over the common property crop up at the time of partition. Such disputes are taken to the courts which are dragged on for years, leading to waste of time, energy, money and mental peace. The joint family is found to be associated with higher birth rate. Let us now discuss about the kinship system in India. Kinship is the social relationships deriving from blood ties and marriage. Kinship is an important aspect of Indian family life. People in the family have definite rights and obligations according to their statuses. Different kins have different obligations to carry out on different occasions in the family. Iravati Karve discussed the kinship features of Indian society by dividing the country into 4 zones: northern, southern, central and eastern, on the basis of differences in languages spoken, that is Sanskrit, Indo-Aryan languages which is spoken in north and central zones, and Dravidian languages which is spoken in southern zone, and Austric or Mundari languages which is spoken in eastern zone. Let us now discuss about features of kinship in North India. The important features of kinship organization of northern zone are: firstly, kins junior to ego, that is person under reference are addressed by their personal names, and senior to ego by the kinship term. Secondly, all children in ascending and descending generations are equated with one's own sibling group, that is brothers and sisters, and all children of one sibling group are again equated with one's own children. Thirdly, the principle of unity of generations is observed. For example, great-grandfather and grandfather are given same respect as father. Fourthly, within the same generation, the older and the younger kin are kept distinct. Fifthly, the duties and behavior patterns of the members of the 3 generations are strictly regulated. Sixthly, some of the ancient kinship terms having Sanskrit origin have been replaced by new terms. For example, Pitamah is replaced by Pita. Suffix G is added to kinship terms used for kin older than the speaker, for example, Chachaji, Tauji, etc. Seventhly, marriage among close kin is not permitted. Eighthly, after the marriage, a girl is not expected to be free with her parents-in-law, but when she becomes a mother, she achieves the position of respect and power, and restrictions on her are reduced. Ninthly, the family is so structured that children, parents and grandparents either living together or social kinship obligations towards them are clearly met. Tenthly, apart from the joint family which represents a person's intimate and nearest circle of relations, there is always a larger circle of kin who play an important part in his life. This kindred represents the circle of his patrikin or matrikin that may stand by him and help him when the immediate family no longer suffices. The kinship pattern is similar by and large throughout the North India, which has its roots in Indo-Aryan patriarchal family. Marriage is avoided by 7 degrees from father and 5 degrees from mother. A person must not marry in his patri family, which can be called as patri clan. Marriage must also be avoided with the children of mother's siblings and cousins, with the children of father's sisters and children of father's female cousins. There is also taboo on marriage between cousins. In some parts, there is local village exogamy even if they are from different gotras. Gotra is a significant kinship factor instrumental in marriage and mate selection. There is different status to daughter and daughter-in-law. Kinship structure in Central India. The salient features of kinship organization of Central India are not much different from those of North India. The important features of kinship in Central India are: every region follows northern practices of marriage, that is, consanguinity is the main consideration which rules marriage. Many castes are divided into exogamous clans. Among some cases, the exogamous clans are arranged in hypergamous hierarchy. The kinship terminology shows intimacy and closeness between various kins. The relations between kins are governed by the custom of nyota, that is gifts, according to which cash gift is given equivalent to cash gift received. In Gujarat, Mamera type of cousin marriages with mother's brother and levirate, that is marriage with deceased husband's brother, are practiced by some castes. The custom of periodic marriages in Gujarat has led to child marriages as well, unequal marriages. But such marriages are practiced in modern India too. In Maharashtra, there is impact of both northern and southern zones in kinship relations. Some castes like Marathas and Kunbis in central zone practice bride price too, though the dowry custom also exists among them. Though the family system in Maharashtra is patrilineal and patrilocal, but unlike the north where a wife permanently stays with her husband after Gauna and rarely goes to her father's house, in castes like Marathas, she moves to and from father's house very frequently. Though the kinship terms are mostly northern, but some terms are borrowed from Dravidians in the south. For example, use of the term Anna and Nana for brother along with the term Dada. Similarly, use of the term Akka, Tai or sister. The kinship system of tribals in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh is somewhat different from that of caste Hindus. The difference exists in terms of kinship terminology, marriage rules, inheritance system and the clan obligations. Thus, it may be stated that though the kinship organization in northern and central zones is almost similar, yet it can be described as a region of transition from north to the south. Let us now discuss about kinship structure in South India. The southern zone presents a complicated pattern of kinship system. Though patrilineal and patrilocal family is the dominant family type for the greater number of castes and communities, for example, Nambudris, there are important sections of population which are matrilineal and matrilocal, for example, Nayars, and also quite number whose systems possess features of both patrilineal and matrilineal organization, for example, Todas. Similarly, there are some castes or tribes who practice only polygyny, for example, Nambudris, and there are others who practice only polyandry, for example, Asaris, Nayars, and yet others who practice both polygyny and polyandry, for example, Todas. Then there are polyandrous patrilineal groups, for example, Asari, and also polyandrous matrilineal groups, for example, Nayars, and also polygynous patrilineal groups, for example, Nambudris, but no polygynous matrilineal groups. Similarly, there are patrilineal joint families and also matrilineal joint families. All this shows varied patterns in kinship organization in southern zone. Exogamous clans are universal in southern zone. In large number of cases, the first preference is given by the man in choosing his elder sister's daughter as bride. Among preferred marriage, a man's marriage with his father's sister's daughter comes next among a large number of castes. A third type of preferential marriage is with maternal uncle's daughter. Among the Nayars of South, the matrilineal joint family is called as Tharwad and is made up of woman, her brothers and sisters, her own and her sister's daughters and sons. No relations by marriage live in the household. The eldest female member is the head of the household. Male visits his wife occasionally and thus no affinal relation live in the family. However, in modern times these preferences have been diminishing owing to multiple factors, including that of genetic disorders in the offsprings that are born to couples who get married in close relationship. Let us now make a comparison of kinship system of North and South India. In southern family, there is no clear-cut distinction between the family of birth, that is family of orientation, and family of marriage, that is family of procreation, as found in the northern family. In North, no member from egos, that is person under reference or study, family of orientation, that is of father, mother, brother and sister, can also become a member of his family of marriage. But this is possible in the South. In the North, every kinship term clearly indicates whether the person referred to is a blood relation or an affinal kin, but this is not so in the South. In the South, an ego has some kin who are his blood relatives only and others who are his blood relatives and affinal kin at the same time. In the South, organization of kin is arranged according to age categories in two groups. In the North, kin are organized according to the nature of relationship. In the South, kinship organization is dependent on the chronological age differences, while in North it is dependent on the principle of generations divisions. No special norms of behavior are evolved for the married girls in the South, whereas in the North many restrictions are imposed on them. Marriage does not symbolize woman's separation from father's house in the South, but in North, a woman becomes a visitor to her parents' family. The North represents the principle of extended exchange, a policy of expansion, incorporation of outsiders as wives into family, leading to a great stresses and strains and double standard of women's behavior, a wide circle of kin. The South represents the principle of immediate exchange, a policy of consolidation, a clustering of kinship group in a narrow area, no sharp distinction between the kin by blood and kin by marriage, greater freedom for women in society which was mainly agricultural. In the North, marriage is to widen the kinship group, while in the South it is to strengthen the already existing bonds. Kinship organization in Eastern India. There are more tribes than caste Hindus in Eastern India, consisting of parts of Bengal, Bihar, Assam and Orissa. The important tribes are Khasis, Birhor, Hos, Mundas, Oraon. The kinship organization here has no one single pattern. People speaking Mundari languages have patrilineal, patrilocal families. However, joint families are rare in this zone. Cross cousin marriages are practiced seldom, though bride price is common. Kinship terminology is borrowed both from Sanskrit and Dravidian languages. Khasis and Garos have matrilineal joint family system like Nayars in the south. After marriage, a man rarely lives with his parents and establishes a separate house. Peculiar condition for cross cousin marriage, that is mother's brother's daughter or father's sister's daughter. A man cannot marry his mother's brother's daughter as long as mother's brother is alive, nor can marry father's sister daughter as long as father's sister is alive. There are exogamous totemistic clans. A person must marry outside the clan and also outside the circle of near relations like first cousin. Money is given for procuring a bride. Man may work or serve in his future father-in-law's house for some years in lieu of payment of his bride price. The kinship organization in India is influenced by caste and language. Marriage, family and kinship are in phase of transition. Nevertheless, they are the most significant social institutions which shape not only the individual and family but also the entire society.